The Beatitudes aren't some cute little children's sermon. They're politically subversive speech. They're things that Jesus said that was pushing back hard against the most powerful people in his day. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. We can't explain them all because there's a lot of them, but let's just talk about a couple of them. The very first one, blessed are the poor in spirit. This undermines and just a fundamental idea, and that was that being strong and wealthy was an indication of blessing. No one would have said that poor people are blessed. And the word here, poor, is completely destitute. And this is important because it was used to justify doing horrible things, because if you were making your country stronger or more wealthy, that was justified because that was meaning your country was more blessed. But Jesus pushes back hard against this foundational principle. Okay, so how about we talk about blessed are the peacemakers? Because this is really interesting. When you look at the teachings of Jesus, it's really clear. When he talks about peacemakers, he's talking about people who bring peace into the world through nonviolence, not through violence. And this peacemaker idea was something that the Romans loved to claim. They have this pax romana, but it was peace through strength, peace through warfare and extreme violence. There is this place called Carthage, and before Jesus was around, this was a sort of famous, crazy moment where, in order to, what they said, bring about peace, they decimated the entire population of Carthage, killing or enslaving 200,000 people. That's not peace. That's war. So let's do one more. This time to the Jewish people who were in power. Remember that at that time it was sort of a theocracy in one sense, because the Romans sort of controlled the general government, but then there was this religious law, and so the Romans sort of ceded some of their power to the Jewish people to maintain their own religious laws. And so one of the things that Jesus says is, blessed are the pure in heart. This is a repeated theme in his subversive speech, because he was constantly subversive, politically so. And one of the ruling groups was the Pharisees. And if you grew up, you've probably heard of the Pharisees if you grew up in church. But they were very focused on ritualistic purity. And so what that meant is that when you did certain things, there were certain rituals that you had to perform in order to stay pure. But what Jesus said over and over again is those rituals are not what make you pure. It's what's inside that matters. At one point, he actually calls the Pharisees, he says that you're like whitewashed tombs. You look good on the outside. In other words, you do the right rituals. But he says, inside, you are full of dead men's bones. So Jesus, from the very beginning, was a political dissident. He was constantly saying dramatic, politically subversive things. If he was in our world today, he would still be doing the same thing. He would be on somebody's list or multiple people's list. But at that point, the two people in power, the two power structures, the Roman power structure and the Jewish power structure, he was constantly calling them out, saying that they were wrong, they were evil, they were sinful, they were unjust, they were the opposite of what they said they were. And there's a lot of things that landed him, got him to the point of being executed, of experiencing capital punishment. But a huge part was his politically subversive speech. And so I think I'm going to join him. To our political rulers, the people in power today, I think I'd just like to say, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are the peacemakers, and blessed are those who are pure in heart. Get it?